Hello viewers, you join me on a pretty special day, it has to be said. I'm on my way to Performance Cycles, my local bike shop, to see and collect for a few days a brand new road bike from Orbea. So first time I've seen it, pretty excited to see what it's all about. Let's go for a closer look. Hello Andy.
Hi Dave, how you doing?
What have we got here then?
So this is the new Orbea Orca OMX, newest one in their lineup, here for you to test ride today. So the OMX is based on their OMR platform, which was used to be their top-end lightweight climbing bike. They then developed the Orca Aero a couple of years ago, which became a fantastic Aero road bike. So looking for something a little bit more in between. So the OMX is as light as the OMR was. In fact, in the smaller sizes, it's lighter. But then it is about 10% stiffer and about 10 to 15% more aero than their standard OMR climbing bike, but obviously not quite as aero as the Orca Aero itself, so it gives a better all-round ride for you to get out and enjoy the roads.
It's a custom paint job, standard paint job?
So this is one of the stock colourways that they do. I think there's 3 stock colourways for 2020, but as with most of the Orbea bikes in the range, especially up at this sort of price point, they run a system called Myo, so you can customise it to your heart's content with different colours, different colour areas. You can put your name on the top tube. There's all sorts of different kind of custom graphics you can do down here on the fork as well as within Myo we can then start to tweak the spec, so we can upgrade wheels for you or the FSA power meter on the chain set. We can change handlebars, we can change saddles, we can change tyre choice, we can change cassette ratio, and it's all included in the price. So it makes it much easier to build and spec a bike exactly right for a customer as well.
Good, I can't wait to take it out for a ride and see how it performs.
Yeah, well, enjoy.
Right, let's hit the open road and see what this new bike can do. And straight away, it's clear this is a really quick bike. It's so rapid straight away. You feel the speed just build up with no hesitation. I think the ride quality of the bike is just fantastic. I think Orbea have done a superb job with this bike, balancing the weight and the stiffness and the aerodynamic properties into a bike that just feels fantastic when you're cruising along like I am now, or smashing along in a group. When I first started reading about this new bike, I did wonder if it's a bit of a compromise. You know, you might as well have the lightest bike or the most aero bike that suit your requirements and your personal taste. Why have something that sits in the middle? A jack of all trades, as it were. But having ridden this bike, I think it works brilliantly. It's not a compromise. It hits a sweet spot between a lightweight and stiff bike and an aero bike. It's got the speed you want from an aero bike. We've got the low weight from that 833 gram frame and plenty of stiffness for when you're attacking, sprinting, climbing and looning about. Perhaps not quite as quick as an outright aero bike like the Orca Aero, which I tested a few years ago, or the Specialized Venge, but it's clearly a very fast bike. And it does remind me a little bit of the BMC Road Machine and the Specialized Tarmac, perhaps even the Candel Super 6 Evo. The handling of the bike is what you want from a race bike. Got a short wheelbase and short chainstays, so the handling is nippy and responsive. The steering is nice and fast, the corners extremely well. Just moves around the road with a lovely direct response feel. Climbing good too, but low overall weight, huge stiffness from the frame. So it climbs as well as most dedicated lightweight climbing bikes like a Tarmac or a Team Machine perhaps. And this bike Well, it's not a super stiff, harsh bike like some aero bikes have been in the past, but it's not a silky smooth like an endurance bike. It's quite a hard ride, quite a firm ride, quite a lot of feedback coming through the bike. I think much of that is down to the fact that it's riding on 25mm wide tyres. Going up to 28 or even 32, which is the max the frame will take, would definitely increase comfort on these sort of roads today. Sadly, I've only got the bike for a few days, so not enough time to change the tyres, because I'd love to find out what it's like with 28, even 30s on it. I've got a strong idea, of course. The wide tyre at slightly low pressure would just dial back some of the hardness that I'm experiencing on this road surface today. Okay, those are some of my first ride impressions on this brand new Orbea Orca OMX. Let's give you a closer look at the bike and talk through some of the details. So first things first, it's a full carbon fibre frame and fork with a claimed weight of just 833 grams, which is very lightweight. And as you can see, all tube profiles have optimised for aerodynamics with a truncated down tube, the dropped rear stays, which are very familiar now on top end race bikes, a D-shaped profile seat post, and up front the fork borrows a lot of design from the Orca Aero and have a very wide bowed fork blades, quite dramatic compared to a normal fork, which is much closer to the wheel and tyre. That enables increased tyre clearance, and this bike, would you believe it, will take up to a 32mm tyre, which is the sort of thing you expect from an endurance bike, not a race bike. These, for reference, are 25mm wide tyres at the moment. You see how beefy the chainstays are, so clearly power transfer is a key requirement, as well as aerodynamics and low weight. So all cables and hoses are internally routed. There are no ports or holes on the frame to ruin the clean looks, and they've developed their own stem and handlebar, which, as you can see, has the cables and hoses underneath the stem. Similar to BMC, they've done something like that, and other brands are doing a lot of similar internal cable routing integration. The neat thing is though, you can fit a regular stem and handlebar if you prefer, and as you can see, I've dropped the stem and it's very easy to make adjustments. These aero spaces are split on the front and back, so you can take them out or add them as you need. And if you bought the bike, you'd trim the steering tube so you wouldn't have that ugly stack of spaces there. So a nice clean front end. They also do a Garmin or Wahoo out front mount which fits onto the stem. This is a Di2 bike, so we've got the port and the down tube there for recharging and making adjustments on the fly. We've got an internal seat clamp, but it's easy to access with a bolt on the side of the frame there with a decent size Allen key as well. So no fiddly tiny bolt underneath there, easy to get to, and I've not had any problems with the seat slipping. Got a small rubber do-breathe there to stop stuff getting in to the frame. Nice bit of design there. One interesting detail on this bike is that it's compatible with Mavic's speed release. You might have heard of this. It's basically a through axle design designed to provide quicker, speedier wheel changes. And unlike a regular through axle, as you can see it there, is actually open on one side. These aren't Mavic speed releases, these are regular bolt through axles, but you can spec at an extra cost the Mavic speed release through axles, which allows you to not have to remove the axle fully to get the wheel out. So if you're racing and you need fast wheel changes, that's a pretty cool detail. And if you're wondering, it's only available disc brakes. There's no rim brake option, I'm afraid, but that's just fine by me. And it's the way the market is going. A lot of manufacturers now are selling a lot more disc brake bikes, or disc brake bikes that are outselling rim brake bikes. So, clean looking bike. Now I should say, this is one of 3 stock colour options you can get with this quite distinctive pattern on the fork. I'm not personally loving it. I don't mind the design, but if the colours were more in tune with the rest of the frame, I think it'd look really sweet. but you can customise the paint job and the design of the fork. Have a regular plain fork if you prefer, or other patterns are available through Orbea's custom paint program MyO. So that's no extra cost, you can customise the frame. So the bike here costs £5,000. Got a Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set, hydraulic disc brakes. We've got a CF SLX saddle, brand new model, with a quite short stubby shape and a big cutout in the middle. Orbea's own stem and handlebar, and we've got a set of Vision DBSC 40 TLR tubeless carbon rims, quite a mouthful, and tyres are the excellent Hutchinson Fusion 5, which are also tubeless. So this bike's not set up tubeless, but it'd be easy to add some tubeless valves and sealant and go tubeless. There we go, 7.91 kilograms for this size 55 with a Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set. And in pounds, it's just over 17 pounds. Certainly not the lightest bike you can get for this money, but a pretty reasonable weight. Let me know what you think of the weight in the comment section down below. Right, time to wrap up this video with my final thoughts on this new Orbea Orca OMX. This new Orbea Orca arrives at a really interesting and exciting period in the development of the road bike. For the past 20 years or so, carbon has been the dominant choice, and the focus for designers and manufacturers has been getting the weight as low as possible and the stiffness as high as possible. Then, for the last 10 years or so, aerodynamics has become a focus, and we've seen some really fast bikes at the expense of weight, compliance and other key factors. So your choice at the moment really is between a lightweight bike, like a Specialized Tarmac for example, or an all-out aero bike like the Candel System 6. What this new Orca does, or tries to do, is be the best of both worlds, both lightweight and stiff, but also aerodynamic. It's neither the lightest bike or the most aero bike, but really splits the difference between the two bikes. And I think this is where road bikes are going to evolve. So at the moment, you have to choose between that lightweight bike or an aero bike, which for some people might be easy, for others it might be a tricky choice. This bike makes that question of what bike to buy really simple, because it tries to do everything really well. And based on my first ride today, it does an excellent job of combining the stiffness, the responsiveness, the low weight and the aero performance into a package that rides phenomenally well. I've been super impressed with how the bike rides, and I can't wait to see other manufacturers come out with bikes like this, and I expect to see quite a few more in the coming years. There are a few others in the market already. The BMC Road Machine perhaps. There's also the new Focus Ilsaco Max disc, the Specialized Tarmac to a lesser extent as well. So bikes that are lightweight, stiff, responsive, but aerodynamic as well. So that's been my first ride and a quick look around the brand new Orbea Orca OMX. A huge thanks to my local bike shop, Performance Cycles, for letting me borrow it for a few days, and to Orbea for letting them let me borrow it. So I'm going to take it back now, but one last spin before it goes back. If you've got any questions about the bike, do put them in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed watching the video. I hope you did, and also subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos on the latest bike tech and reviews from myself and the rest of the road.cc team. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.